campaign is around one focal area, and that being how do we destigmatize veterans asking for help.
I would just encourage everyone to be the one. You could be the one. And it's as easy as going to legion.org and getting someone connected with the crisis hotline.
This Be the One campaign and all the other things that the Legion does, all the other VSO services, all the other lobbying services, all the healthcare services, all that stuff is incredibly critical, and we need every ounce of it.
I'm here presenting a City County Council proclamation, a proclamation recognizing and honoring the commemoration of the Be the One campaign.
So we partnered with the American Legion, the Be the One campaign. Essentially, $1 from every bottle sale goes back to the American Legion and their campaign. You know, I've lost several guys through suicide over the last 15 years. And it always makes me wonder what could I have done, one more phone call or one more interaction, could that have helped save them? So, yeah, I think that's a great cause, proud to be a part of it, and always looking for those opportunities within our company to be able to help serve veterans.
2 years ago, I decided I was not going to do this anymore. We walk into the speedway with nobody, and then I'm here for you guys, all of you guys. Thank you so much. We're just trying to put in the top 12 today, but I mean, I'm happy with the run. Hopefully we'll stick in the top 12 and we'll play tomorrow. We're here at the Legion Post, but this is my 21st Indy 500.
Wow.
I'm very fortunate to still be part of it. I can't thank the Legion enough for allowing me to do that. We're starting in the second row. We have a pretty good chance to win. We're racing for a very good cause. I think we're going to talk about it, but to be the one.
Is it that?
This is it, buddy. No, it came out awesome.
I mean, it's beautiful. I'm speechless.
American Legion is dedicated to helping veterans through their toughest times by creating an outlet for vets to be the one to ask, listen, and reach out for help. Learn more at www.betheone.org.
TK, it's Townsend up in the NBC booth. You got me?
Yeah, brother. What's up?
Crazy day. Red flag, 4 laps to go. You were the fastest car of the lead pack. How do you play this restart?
It's going to be all or nothing again. I've done it before, so I have nothing to lose. So they better be ready.
When you think it can't get more special, then you get a sponsor like the Legion, and with the cause, Be the One. And then Chip gives me the number one that belonged to Alex. Put no pressure on me, but this is a cause that we've been fighting. Mental health, it's a serious thing. And the more and more that I learn, we've been trying to save 17 veterans take their lives every day because they don't ask for help. And if we can save one a day, that's the goal, and I was really proud.
Since the American Legion is the biggest and, in my opinion, best veterans organization in the country, it only makes sense that we are represented by the biggest names and best team in IndyCar Series. Team owner Chip Ganassi himself, a former racer and a member of the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. He is the first team owner in history to have won the Indianapolis 500, the Daytona 500, the Brickyard 400, the Rolex 24 at Daytona, the 12 Hours of Sebring, and 24 Hours of Le Mans. On August the 7th, the Chip Ganassi Racing team picked up its 122nd IndyCar Series victory and 243rd overall race win, driving the American Legion Honda in many of the races. This season is a man who is a racing legend. Jimmy Johnson is a 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. He's tied with Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt for the most Cup Series championships of all time. He also happens to be the 2022 Indianapolis 500 Rookie of the Year. Our other driver, Tony Kanaan, is a 2004 IndyCar Series champ. He won the 2013 Indianapolis 500, and in 2015 won the 24 Hours of Daytona for Chip Ganassi Racing. During this year in Indianapolis 500, Tony drove the #1 Be the One American Legion Honda to a third-place finish. We are fortunate to have this trio with us today for a fireside chat. Moderating their discussion is Past Department Commander of California, Artery James. Artery retired as a Senior Assistant Deputy District Attorney in Alameda County. He also spent 20 years as a police officer with the San Leandro Police Department. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the American Legion Chip Ganassi team. Chip Ganassi, Jimmy Johnson, and Tony Kanaan, and moderator Artery James.
So good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So first of all, thank you all for being here today. I know that this is a very busy time of the year. We got 2 races left in IndyCar. We're in the mix for the Astor Cup. So tell me, what's it like to have 3 racers from your team, Chip, legitimately ready to take the Astor Cup this year?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. What an enviable position to be in, Autry, with 3 cars able to win the championship. We have 2 races left. This coming weekend in Portland, Oregon, next weekend in Monterey, California. And if I'm going to have this American Legion sponsorship, I got to maintain that #1 plate. Okay?
I tell you, we're all going to be rooting for that. So
that's what I want. I want that #1 plate. So the way to do that is win the championship. So I got 3 shots at it, and we're pretty excited. Thank you.
Thanks. So tell me now, this Be the One campaign, which has started since Chip Ganassi Racing has been involved with the American Legion, what does that mean to the 3 of you? We'll start with Tony.
Well, first of all, good morning, everyone. To me, obviously, it had a special meaning to what we do already. I mean, Chip has an organization that, it's been winning for a long time. And our biggest race is the Indy 500 on Memorial Day weekend. And then when the Legion came aboard with the Be the One campaign, for us, for me especially, was something extra, an extra motivation to win the race again. And especially when you know you're doing something good, trying to save lives of veterans that were out there protecting us in the past. So I left it all this year trying to win it, to keep the #1 for Chip for the 500, but we came really close. But obviously, I can't thank the Legion enough and all the veterans for the support they give to our team and let us represent them at the racetrack.
And we thank you for all that you've done in helping us move forward on that Be the One campaign. Jimmy, same question for you.
Yeah, for me, just to expand on what Tony said, I was
shocked to hear the numbers that when this program first came about, and to learn about it and understand how many veterans are taking their life each and every day. And, you know, staggering number, a number that must change, and I'm just honored that I've been able to be a part of it. This team has been able to be a part of making change. It's an honor to represent the Legion. It's an honor to be a part of something that's so meaningful, and you know, we're doing the best that we can each and every day to represent the Legion and help move this cause forward. So, you know, excited to know that we are making progress. The word is getting out, and excited to know that you know that Chip Ganassi Racing has that kind of reach and can help the American Legion.
Thank you, Chip.
Thanks, Autry. You know, for me, it's a little special. My father was in World War II, drove a tank, I think, in the 4th Infantry, and he never, you know, my father never spoke about the war to me, and one day I asked him about it. Very late in his life, he passed away about 7 years ago, but very late in his life, I asked him. I said, Dad, why have you never talked to me about that? And he just said, oh, he said, and he got a completely different look on his face that I'd never seen before. And he just said to me, I don't want to talk about that. Yeah. And I just thought to myself, I remember thinking to myself then, this is before I'd ever heard of Be the One, before the Be the One campaign ever existed, that, you know, he was carrying something with him that he didn't want to, you know, that it was inside him, but he didn't want to let it out or didn't want to talk about it. So, obviously, when I heard about the Be the One campaign, I was all in, and that's the reason I'm here today.
Yeah, I got to tell you, we really appreciate the efforts of the three of you in advancing this campaign. Yeah. And Chip, what you said makes a lot of sense. I can tell you there's a number of people out in our audience here today who feel the same way, who, you know, they don't want to talk about it with their families. Yeah. And we as Legionnaires run into a number of people who've been in the same situations and don't want to talk about it. Yeah. So the idea of destigmatizing, asking for help is so important. And the three of you have been such great spokespersons for us and given us such great opportunity to advance Be the One. So again, thank you for that. So now let me ask Tony, there's something else going on with you here, I hear.
Yeah, I'm actually, you know, Chip gave me the opportunity with the Legion, and Jimmy, the last couple of years, we shared a car, so I had a little bit of more time in my hands, not doing the full season in IndyCar, so I picked up a little challenge. I'm doing an Ironman triathlon race in Hawaii in 6 weeks from now, which is a long race. That's
the Ironman, ladies and gentlemen.
Ironman.
He skipped over that a little quickly. The Ironman.
And the
why don't you tell them about the distances involved?
So
you will not believe this.
In miles, it's a 2.5-mile swim.
112-mile bike ride.
Correct.
And a marathon. In the same day.
26 miles.
26 miles. So I picked the challenge.
26 miles on these short legs.
Right. I mean, it's a short stride. We picked the challenge. We're going to be actually carrying the Legion and the Be the One logo in our bib. And actually, I'm doing that to try to also inspire some people, because I think during this mental health issue, you know, keep your body healthy, it helps a lot. Having something to, you know, some goal to try to follow. And then basically I'm doing that for the veterans. It's a huge challenge. I mean, it's not easy for, you know, I'm an athlete, but I'm not a triathlete that, you know, that being training during the season.
Tell them when it is and how they can follow you along the way.
Sure.
You can follow him during the race on your computer. You can get on and you can follow his performance while he's doing it.
You guys can follow how much I'm going to suffer. It's October 8th. If you guys, obviously, we're going to be posting on the Legion social media, on the Chip Ganassi Racing and mine. So you guys are going to have a little link. We're going to be posting throughout that first week of October my whole journey from here to Hawaii, the end of, you know, the training block, and how it's going to be my day. I mean, I have a goal. I think we can do it under 12 hours, which is slow but steady. But hopefully that will inspire some people as well that, you know, exercising is going to keep your mind healthy as well. So hopefully you guys will be with me through my suffer. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
All right, well, hopefully we'll get the information out on our website so that all of us Legionnaires can follow along. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, you were mentioning goals, and Jimmy, I want to ask you, you get 2 races left in this year. You've had a pretty good season, learned a lot, driven quite a number of laps this year, and ovals for the first time in the IndyCar. What are your goals for the next 2 races?
Yeah, the next couple of races, I feel like being able to qualify a little further up the grid will then put me in a better position come race time. I'm still adapting to these cars and learning the tracks. My qualifying performance has been kind of the weak spot of the weekend for me. I always race a lot better than I qualify, so if I can push my way up into the grid, I really feel like I can race higher. So I think that top 15, top 10 is realistic for me in Portland and at Laguna. I had good performances at both of those races last year, and now with another year of experience under my belt, hope to improve on those.
So now, since you've come over from NASCAR to IndyCar, you've had the opportunity to work with some legends of the sport. I mean, I've seen Scott Pruitt in your ear. I've seen Dario Franchitti in your ear. I've seen this guy in your ear. Has that been helpful to you as you made the transition?
Yeah, without a doubt, it's been extremely helpful and also meaningful. And to add to that, to drive for Chip and the amazing operation that exists in Indiana where the team is housed and all the key people that work throughout that company. Then you add in the layers of my friendship and relationship with Dario, with TK, with Scott Dixon, with Scott Pruitt, and him stepping in to be in my ear and to help bridge the gap in this world that I've entered into. It's just been incredible. It's been literally the greatest 2 years of racing that I've had. It's been so meaningful, so fun, and to have this opportunity to chase my original dream, which was being an IndyCar driver. I had 20-something years in NASCAR, but when I was a young man growing up in Southern California, all my heroes were IndyCar drivers, and I kind of felt like that opportunity had passed me by, and then with Chip, the support of the American Legion and other partners, it's become a reality.
That's cool. So one of the things that I've had the opportunity to be at Long Beach. I've been at Laguna Seca a couple times, and one of the things hanging around and being around the team, the access that you have allowed American Legion members, I've picked up is throughout your organization, from the top, talking to people like Mike Hull, all the way down to the bottom level of the organization, teamwork. That is so ingrained in the culture there. So Chip, how did you go about building that into your organization?
Well, it's a good question, Audrey. I think there's a lot of, I always say there's a lot of speed in teamwork. And all of our drivers are, we have 4 cars on the team, and they're all 4 open book. Everyone sits in the same room when it comes to a debrief or after a session when we're talking, hey, how's your car handling? How's mine? This is, everybody's book is wide open about what they're running in their car, what springs, what shocks, what aerodynamic configuration are they running, and so they get, you can get an honest answer from your teammate. You can't get an honest answer from someone you're competing, across the way, another team.
Right.
So and we preach that because it never comes down to our cars at the end for a particular position. Very rarely does that happen. So we're all open book, and we find a lot of speed, and we've had a lot of success. That's why we have 3 of the cars, able to win the championship here in the next 2 weeks. Yes.
That's pretty incredible. I think there's a lot of lessons and a lot of similarities between, the idea of teamwork in your organization and teamwork that's needed at the post, the district, and even the department levels and national levels within the American Legion. So I just picked up on that being around you guys. It's like, it's incredible how ingrained that is. So now, I was in the back there and somebody said I should ask you how you got your start in motorsports.
How I got my start in motorsports. It's a cute story. My father and my uncle had a business. They were in the asphalt paving business. They were paving sort of gas stations and people's driveways and what have you, and they paved a go-kart track. And all of a sudden one day, we had 3 go-karts in our garage. And I go, what happened? Well, where did we get those? And what happened was the man that owned the go-kart track, I guess, didn't pay for the paving job. So my father and my uncle took 3 go-karts, and the next thing you know, they're in our garage. And literally the steering wheel was this big. And I couldn't reach the pedals. That tells you how small I was. And so that was arguably my start to my motorsports career.
And it's led all the way up to team ownership at this point.
It has, yes. And
What's
I've been
it
fortunate
like?
the whole way.
I was going to ask, what's it like to be a team owner? I mean, you were a driver before, had some successes there, and now an owner.
Yeah, I would have been perfectly happy being a great driver, but I wasn't a great driver, so I was just okay. And so since that driving didn't work out for me, the only thing left was team ownership, because I'm not a very good mechanic. Right.
So have either of you two thought about going the ownership route at some point?
Go for it.
I don't know. I've been with Chip for a long time, and it takes a lot to be a team owner. So I'm not sure. Like, I actually succeed, no offense to Chip, he just said, I think I was a better race car driver than he was, but I think he's a much better team owner. So
That's what I heard too.
I'll stick to my day job.
Yeah, something very similar. I mean, I grew up wanting to drive any car anywhere and just live this, had this idea in my mind that I'd take my helmet and drive for anyone. It wasn't this idea of owning and operating and really working. I mean, the guys really got to work. We just get to sit down, for a couple hours on a weekend and call it a job. So I'm not sure I really want to work.
Now you say you drive anywhere. Let me ask you, being from California, you ever drive the dirt track in Antioch?
I have not been on that track.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you missed out on my hometown.
I did. No, I did drive plenty on the dirt, but it was either, the Mexico desert, the Arizona, Nevada deserts with the off-road truck racing I did. And I also did compete in some stadium off-road events that moved around the country as well.
Okay. Now, TK, we talked about, you and the upcoming Ironman. But you actually have a race this weekend too, don't you?
Right. Obviously I was sharing the car with Jimmy last year. This year, Chip gave me the #1 position and number to do the 500. But doing a partial season in IndyCar, I picked up this challenge to do it. They call it a stock car. It's a V8 supercar down in Brazil, where I was born. And I'm doing 12 races there this year between the IndyCar in the championship. So I'm leaving the stage straight to the airport because I'm actually racing in Brazil this weekend. So.
Okay, well, we wish you success there.
Thank you.
Now, let me ask you, have you driven like NASCAR-style cars here in the U.S.?
No, I have not, actually. I mean, Chip used to own a team, and I lost my opportunity to test one. Jimmy doesn't own any, so I have not. But I can only imagine how difficult it is. I mean, I really envy and actually admire what Jimmy did, the crossover, after being so successful in NASCAR. Although they're race cars, they're completely different animals. So I have not tested yet.
And how do you know? Oh, you haven't even tested the NASCAR. I mean, a NASCAR.
Not here in the States. No,
Okay.
I have not.
Okay. So let me ask you this. I know you two of you are very competitive individuals. You don't get to rise to the top of your sport without being competitive. If the roles were reversed and you had been in NASCAR and Jimmy had been in IndyCar his entire career, which one of you would have been better?
I can't compete with a 7-time. I mean, I'll take that. I'm humble enough to say I would put my money on Jimmy.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Now, we provided an opportunity for some folks in the social media to ask some questions. So here are some questions from our social media folks. From IndyCar Twins, and this one's for Chip. What's the hardest thing about owning a race team?
The hardest thing about owning a race team is, Actually, it's when you see all this work gone into a car and all this time and effort and money, and then it crashes. That's the hardest thing for a team owner to see. I'll tell you, it's yeah.
Into the barricades does not feel good.
That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part.
Okay. Now, Jimmy, Leonard wants to know, when are you going to race in Brazilian stock cars with Tony?
My schedule's a little full. Tony,
I never invited him. I don't know why you guys saying that. I don't want to get beat.
I do feel like I'm somewhat represented down there because he's using the 48 number, so I'm
well,
like kind of
there
there
you
in
go.
spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, I asked permission, by the way. I mean, last year when we started this partnership with Chip, I said, Jimmy, I'm doing stock cars in Brazil too. Can I borrow the 48 so we can keep the same number? And yep, I had the 48.
They're in spirit.
Yeah. So, let's see here. There's another one. What's the most memorable interaction with a veteran or Legionnaire since teaming up with the American Legion? For any one of you.
I have one we represented last year. Before the 500, I got a letter from, I don't remember the name of the veteran, but we had his name in our car, actually, that his mother sent me a letter with his coin. The kid got killed in combat, so it was really, really emotional for me, and it was something that it brought a lot of meaning to, like I said, since we started this partnership with the Legion. It gave me an extra purpose, and I remember talking to his mom after the race too, that we finished actually in the top 10 last year, and how touched I was, and actually. I kept his coin right now. It sits in my house right beside my Borg Warner, which is a trophy that I won at 500 in 13. I was hoping to win this year to actually add to that, but that's definitely something that touched me quite a bit.
That's a great story, and the idea of hoping to win another Borg Warner. I mean, that's a tough trophy to give. What was it like winning that first one?
That was a very how can I say it? I mean, I started like all of us here. Racing started because of my dad. My dad introduced me to racing, and unfortunately, when I was 13 years old, he passed. He was pretty ill. He had cancer for a few years, and he passed. And one thing that we used to do all the time on Memorial Day weekend was sit down in Brazil and watch the Indy 500. And right before he passed, he actually made me promise him that I was going to take care of my family, which was my mom and my sister, and that one day I was going to win the 500 for him. So it took me 12 tries by the time I did it, but it's one of those things that if you guys ever watched that race, when I crossed the start-finish line, I was actually pointing up, saying, Dad, I finally did it. So for me, it was very special.
And this year, I mean, you had an incredible May this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, Chip gave me a rocket ship. I was convinced on the last 3 laps, especially, I'm very well known for good restarts, that I was going to get it, but it was such a close field that, as a team, I think it was huge. We had 5 cars in the top 12 to start that race, and then at some point we had 5 cars in the top 10. So we still won as a team.
Yep.
Our teammate won the race, but I was so close that it's making me wanting to do it again.
Good. Like to see you out there again. So, Chip, you've got now 5 Indy 500 wins as a team. Is that right? How's that feel?
It's special. I mean, it's to have. I think it dovetails into the earlier question you asked Tony about which of these guys would be better if they switched roles in Indy cars or stock cars. It's what sport is all about. It's that question that no one will ever know the answer to.
Right.
Who would Tony be good in a stock car? If Jimmy started in Indy cars, where would he be? That's like if Babe Ruth hit against Nolan Ryan, would he have had home runs like he did? These are all unanswerable questions that we want to sit around and talk about it and ask her and say, what do you think? No, I think this. What do you think? I think that. You know, and that's the great thing about sport. Sports, whether it's football, baseball, auto racing, you name it, it's the only thing on television really that we don't know the outcome of. Right. It's the only entertainment on television we don't know the outcome of. And that's why it's kind of must-see television, you know, or everybody wants to know what's the first thing they ask you after a race on Sunday? Who won, right? They'll say, who won? And that's the question. And so I love the interaction of questions like that, though, that, you know, we'll never know the answer to what if Tony started in stock cars and what if Jimmy started in Indy cars? Well, no one will ever know the answer to that. But we can sure think about it and talk about it and say, well, what about this? What about that? And that's the great thing about sports. So when you ask, you know, what's it like to win the Indianapolis 500 5 times? I just, you know, for me personally, it's something that more than I ever possibly dreamed of when I was a kid. I just wanted to be there, let alone be in it and then, you know, win it 5 times as a team owner. I just wanted to be there. You know, so I outkicked my coverage, as they say, and but that's the great thing about sport. And your earlier question about what was your interaction with the American Legion and with veterans, and let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, what my interaction is. Mine is when each and every one of you that have attended races come up and introduce yourselves. I want all of you that have not been to the races to understand the people that are there, how well they represent you. And I encourage each and every one of you to be there, because they're some of the most cordial, down-to-earth people I've ever met in my life. And they're in this room right now. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being there for the team. And if you get a chance, come see us.
It really is a great experience to be there at the track. And what your team provides those of us who've been there at the track, not just the tickets, but the hospitality, the access, it's really incredible. And I'm so grateful for the opportunities I've had. Really must thank you. I'm a kid who grew up watching the Indianapolis 500 on a 13-inch black and white TV, always wanting to be that guy in the car. Well, you know, I don't think that's ever going to happen at this point, but you know, working with you folks have been outstanding. So, Jimmy, I got to ask you this. I was doing a little bit of research, and I ran across this story about a warehouse you have.
Yes, my man cave.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got, some of us have an area in our house as a man cave. Some of us have a room. You have an entire warehouse.
I did have some of my stuff in my house, and then my wife started, you know, pushing it out in the garage. And then I accumulated enough stuff that I thought, well, if it's going to be in the garage, I may as well make my own garage somewhere that's cool. So I have a pretty neat kind of man cave that I've set up over the years, and my parents kept and collected everything from my first motorcycle, that's a 1979 Suzuki little 50 dirt bike, many things that happened through my teen years and on, and then that kind of put it in my mindset, how much that meant to me to be able to see it and touch it and have it. And I have since accumulated a lot of stuff, so I don't take many people there because it's a big hooray me and it's just all my stuff. But I do have a great man cave and I have a small car collection and a fun little area to hang out and spend some time.
Now, the story is you also have a bar in that man cave.
That would be that fun little area to hang out, yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, I think Legionnaires have been known to hang out at a bar occasionally.
That's fair.
It's usually after the end of the workday, but...
You know, work can end early sometimes, too.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I've got a great bar set up. I found a company that specializes in vintage bars, and there was a hotel shutting down in Pittsburgh, of all places. And they had an original bar that was put in and installed in like 1900s, like early 1900s. It's a solid cherry wood bar. And I was able to acquire it, restored it. It took a forklift to move this thing around because it's 3 pieces in a big bar, but I have a great centerpiece there with this bar.
Now, you also have something else that the rest of us Legionnaires don't have. You got bar stools that are motorized, right?
Yeah, those are a great idea.
Sounds like a fantastic idea.
motorized bar stools. My very first Brickyard 400 I was competing in, I was driving to the track, and I was so amazed that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is essentially in a neighborhood. Like television cameras never really represented that to my knowledge. So I was very surprised, and I was coming close to the Speedway. I looked to my left, and there was this tented village area where they're selling merchandise and such. And I saw motorized bar stools. So I made a U-turn, went back, investigated, felt like I should have a couple of them.
Yeah.
And they ended up at my house. We have had some crashes on them. They are top heavy. We typically feel
high
a little
center of gravity, I got it.
Yeah, gravity is a problem. Yeah. Center of gravity is a problem on them. But what's wild is they did inspire. I came out with a video game in like the mid-2000s called Jimmy Johnson's Anything with an Engine, and they were the inspiration for this video game that came out that you could race a motorized bar stool or a motorized bathtub and all these wild little characters inside the video game.
I just got to ask, any chance that me and a few hundred of my closest friends can get a ride on these bar stools?
As soon as you sign the release waiver, no problem. It's all yours.
Okay, you guys heard it. You guys heard it. We're going to Jimmy's. Oh, no, I just had to ask about that one.
I appreciate that.
Now, you know, one of the last things I wanted to kind of end up with here is, Chip, one of the things, not just the teamwork issue with your team, but I've had the opportunity to see that within your team and many of the teams in IndyCar, a lot of veterans are hired. Yes. Why is that?
Well, I can tell you why I hire them.
Okay.
I don't know about other teams, but you know, I like what they represent. You know, they represent, I think, what's great about our country, and they represent. You know, they understand things that are you know, values that today we don't talk about enough. You know, like, you know, hard work and wanting to do better, wanting to win, wanting to, you know, be the best. Not afraid to put a little bit of elbow grease in when you need it. And, you know, I don't know, to me, you know, the veterans that we have, you don't have to explain much to them. They get it, if you will. They get it. Yeah. They get what it takes. And it's part of being a team. You don't have to talk much about, hey, this is a team, it's not about individuals. These guys will tell you, they drive the car and they get all the accolades, but there's a big team behind them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you know, so for me, that's what it's all about. Yeah. We're all in this together.
Well, I've talked you guys' ears off. I think the commander probably wants his stage back. So, and I don't want to upset the commander. So I want to once again thank you for making an inner city kid dream come true, giving me opportunity to sit here with you all. Thank you on behalf of the members of the American Legion who've been out there and the way that you've treated us. We truly, truly appreciate. And thank you, really thank you for all of the work that you're doing with B2-1.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Chip Ganassi Racing, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Audrey. Let's give another round of applause for our panelists. Now, don't y'all run off. Don't you run off, Chip. Jimmy. I now call on the Sons of the American Legion Commander Michael Fox to join me at the lecture so he can make a special presentation. And would Chip Ganassi and Jim Johnson please come to the podium, please?
Chip, it's an honor and a privilege, as many just heard. You're ineligible to be a member of the Sons of the American Legion. It's my distinct honor and privilege to welcome you into this family.
Thank
Is that for you? And also, Sons of the American Legion. Would you like to say anything?
I wasn't ready for this. All I can say is thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for letting me be a part of your organization.
And Jimmy, as we spoke about a year ago now and found out you were eligible to be a member of the Sons, I want to welcome you to the family.
Well, thank you. This is a huge honor, and with two grandfathers that served and a brother-in-law, being in a military family was always something that I'm very familiar with and used to. My grandfather on my father's side drove a tank in World War II, and on my mother's side was a naval captain. So it's been a part of our family, and it was such an honor this year to represent my family members at the Indianapolis 500. Some of you may have seen a few minutes ago up on the board, did a collaboration with Blake Shelton, and on one side of the helmet had my two grandfathers, and the other side of the helmet had his brother and his father. So just a huge honor to wear the American Legion helmet representing the people that were close to us in the Indianapolis 500. So this is a huge honor. I've been handed the coupon to sign a few different times the last 2 years, and I've always lost it in a fire suit or it's gone through the wash. So now to officially be in is something that's very special to me. And then since I do have everyone's attention, I'm here at the mic. I just wanted to share something else with everybody here in the crowd. The Legion and being able to work with the Legion over the last 2 years, meet everybody at the racetrack, the honor it's been, the meaning that's been behind it. My wife Chandra and I have felt very compelled and moved to have a further involvement with the Legion. And I'm up here today to proudly announce that we want to pledge $1.5 million to the American Legion. So, thank you.